Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new series. We're going to investigate botanicals in melt and pour soap. So I know there's a lot of feelings out there about this, and we're going to explore them all. A heads up, this is a cliffhanger. The way this series is going to go is I'm going to make two two videos making a soap using botanicals. And then the third video is going to be testing it with a kit, testing for microbes, testing for all kinds of goodies. And that will be the third, and it will alternate that way. I'll do two more, and we'll use the test kit. I have 10 test kits, so there's going to be 10 unless I buy another set of kits. I'm excited about this. I'm a little scared of it, but diving in, it's going to be fun. Hopefully, the main thing is I'm hoping to get some answers. There's so many reasons that people say that yes, you can, and no, you can't, with adding botanicals into melt and pour soaps. But it goes outside of that a little bit. As far as additives go, what else can you add or not add, and why or why not? And some people say that you can add botanicals because the pH in the soap is high enough that it's not going to allow microbes to occur. And then other people will post pictures of soaps with mold all over them. So it's, we're going to find out the truth here as best we can. And so I'm starting off by buying some kits from a variety of companies that contain melt and pour soap and botanicals, and I will follow the instructions to the letter, and then we will test. And I am not doing this, as I mentioned in the text, if you saw, I'm not doing this to knock any companies or their kits, etc. I just want to get down to what works and what doesn't, what shouldn't work and should work, and we're just going to have fun with it, hopefully. And when we come away, maybe we'll have a clearer picture of what we can and cannot add. I do believe there are so many differing opinions on this that it's hard to wade through because there are botanicals that you definitely can use. So we're going to find it all out today. Well, not all today. We're going to find it all out over the next few months, probably, because I'm going to be doing a lot of these. And I am, for the record, still finishing up on the clay series. I'm just going to keep adding until I get all the clays done that I have, and then and do some final products and testing and discussion on how much you should or shouldn't add, or ways to experiment with it for you. So that being said, we're working on the kit. I already gave you the name of it in the text up above, but it is a bath tea guest soap. This one is from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I wanted to start with this one, first of all, because Wholesale Supplies Plus is my go-to supplier for most things. I tend to buy my micas from Mad Micas, and I tend to buy my fragrances from a variety of places, but this is one of the main places I also purchase fragrances. So I wanted to give this one a chance and see. I kept seeing a little ad playing it, and I thought, oh no, is that going to mold? But I wanted to try and see. So it's not, as you may have noticed, it's not sponsored by anyone. I'm even taking all of my normal affiliate links out, just to make sure you understand that this is only biased by my knowledge of what I've experienced going into this, but I'm trying to remain very open-minded with this and not make judgments before I get the test results. So we're just following instructions. I've cut up the detergent-free white soap base, white melt and pour soap base that came with this kit. I think you saw me listing the kit ingredients in the beginning. And what I'm going to do now, because you kind of see what I'm doing, I'm measuring out. I'm going to read what the kit is telling me to do and what it says about the kit so that you see. I'm reading directly from the Wholesale Supplies Plus website. And you can follow along if you like. It's not too hard to find. This elegant soap is easy to make and contains a luxurious luxurious blend of chamomile, lavender, spearmint, rosemary, juniper, and rose petals. Now, real quick, the ingredients on the bath tea blend does not list lavender. So I can't remember. It's been now a week and a half since I made it. So I can't remember for sure if I saw lavender buds, but we will clear that up in the testing video because I will have the soaps there in my hand and we will be looking for the lavender. So I'm just not sure if it has lavender buds, but I know it has the other items. The fragrance of the bath tea gives this soap a gentle and soothing aroma, and they're not kidding. That is a fabulous scent. So if the soap doesn't turn out the way I am comfortable using, I will definitely use the bath tea as a bath tea because it smells fabulous. The benefits of the bath tea ingredients will come through the muslin bags along with the creamy soap bubbles, but won't make a mess in the sink. With only a couple of ingredients, this recipe is extremely easy, and the end result is a sophisticated product. Friends and family will ooh and ah when they receive this as a gift. Don't worry, we won't spoil your secret on how easy these were to make. It really was easy. This was one of the easiest soaps I've ever made. So there's that. The kit I thought was very well put together. So this isn't necessarily a review, just a test, but I have to say, as something being put together for a kit, it was well done. The instructions were pretty easy and all of that fun stuff. So now I'm going to go to the actual instructions. I've got to find them. So I'm on my phone with this because my laptop is recording my voiceover. So forgive me for needing to find things. Okay, here is the recipe for bath tea guest melt and pour soap recipe. Okay, recipe ingredients. So they give us, as I showed you, 2 pounds, but you only microwave. Let's see, let me find it. Oh, come on. Yeah, you cut up and melt 10.5 ounces of white soap in microwave in 30-second increments. That was fairly fast because as a detergent-free soap, it's going to melt quite quickly. Add 0.5 ounces of bath tea, half an ounce, which you just saw me do on the screen, and mix into melted soap. Pour into guest loaf mold. Spritz top with rubbing alcohol and let soap completely harden. Remove soap from mold and cut into 1-inch slices. Repeat recipe 2 more times to make 16 additional bars. So you can basically make 3 loaves worth of these. Place each slice into a muslin drawstring bag. Label accordingly. And then to use, place bag with soap under running water. Work up a lather and wash. Hang bag from hook or faucet to dry between uses. And this is where I noticed in the ingredients label that they don't list the lavender. So that's questionable as to whether it has lavender in it. But that's your basic instructions. Pretty straightforward. And yeah, it was simple. Simple as pouring the soap in and spritzing. It was very easy. Now, the only thing that wasn't easy, and that was my fault, not theirs, is I'm on a timeline when I'm filming these things. I've trying to get as much filmed as possible and having only the one mold. I wanted to try another soap in the same filming day, which you will see in about a week. But a week from this, because I do another version that is a little bit different. And you'll see this pattern kind of as we go with this series is I'll do a kit and then I might do a modification on the kit, something like that. So the soap took longer than I expected for it to set up. This is a very tiny little guest mold. It makes the cutest little size. It is perfect for like a little guest bathroom or for a little trip, something like that. I definitely plan to put this loaf mold to use more often because it's just fun. It's little fun sizes. And I'm just putting things on the side. Most loaf molds tend to have a little tendency to bend out a little on the side. So my little tip for that when I do this with many loaf molds is just put something up against it lightly. You don't want to push on it. But anyway, so here's the part. I'm just trying to unmold it sooner than I should, which I recommend you just let it sit until it's fully set up. It was still soft. And so what I did to kind of hurry it along is you saw me taking that knife, and I'm still going to be doing it, I'm sure, on screen for a while. So I'll tell you why I did this. I went along the edge with the knife, and I'm just kind of I'm not cutting anything, just kind of prying it from the edge a little bit. Like I'm putting the knife between the edge of the mold, the side of the mold, and the soap. And I'm only moving it down about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch because I'm not trying to cut through anything. Just trying to, well, it really does cut through the very top edge of the soap a little bit. It basically is just moving it from the side. It allows a little bit more air to get down into that mold and also alcohol because as you might notice, I do come in here and I'm spraying that top edge along the sides with alcohol to help it set up faster. I really didn't want to destroy the soap or do anything to cause it to not set up properly. So I just went along that edge and it does help. It's not something I recommend. I really highly recommend that you just let the soap set up fully and remove it when it's set up. It isn't a difficult soap to remove from this little loaf mold. It's quite, if you let it set up fully, the mold itself is quite flexible and releases quite easily. I always spray the sides of my molds when I'm kind of peeling it back a little bit. I always release it a little bit from the edges and spritz, and that makes any loaf a little easier to unmold. But this is quite flexible and does a nice job of releasing. So you don't have to do this step. It's just part of what my process was for this day. Because you see there's some ingredients that are hanging out there on the table that really have nothing to do with this particular soap. And that's because I was preparing to do one right after this. So you kind of see a little bit of a sneak peek of what's going on. Maybe I'm not really going to tell you what it is, but some of you may recognize some of the ingredients I'll be using in next week's soap. When I say next week, I'm not sure if this one's going to come out on a regular Wednesday or maybe as as my Saturday soap. I'm not sure. My Saturday surprise that I put out because it's going to be a significantly shorter video, I do believe. But anyway, all you're seeing me here is trying to get this to release. Let me talk a little bit more about the botanicals being used. You will see, or you noticed maybe in the instructions or the description that said the botanical benefits along with the creamy lather of the soap will come through the muslin bag. Just a note, you cannot claim those botanical benefits, except with the exception of the smell, because the smell is really, really, really nice. I added no fragrance oil to this. So if it does not mold and create microbes, it'll be a wonderful smelling soap. We'll find out. And again, if not, it'll make a wonderful smelling bath tea because it is very fragrant. It's just as fragrant as if you had added a lovely fragrance to it, but all botanical smells. So kind of as if you'd added essential oils, but they might stick to it. I don't know. We'll see how it lasts too. When I test these, just so you understand, I've bought the kits I've bought for testing are professional cosmetic testing kits, and they're testing a variety of different microbes, and I believe that includes molds and mildew and bacteria, certain types. When I get the test kits out and start that process, I will read to you everything I'm supposed to do so you understand the process and you can kind of help me keep check that I'm doing it right. But I'll read what it's supposed to do and what I'm supposed to do, and we'll do it together, hopefully, and read the results as well. I will be in the video where we test it. I will give you the link for the testing kits. They were not nearly as expensive as I expected. I purchased mine from Lotion Crafter. That is kind of one of my go-to for more cosmetic type ingredients. If I'm making face lotion or something like that, that's one of my go-tos. I do also buy some of those from Wholesale Supplies Plus, but they've just started carrying more than they used to with that. But the kits I have not seen on Wholesale Supplies Plus or Brambleberry or any of the basic soap suppliers. I haven't seen these kits, and so Lotion Crafter was where I happened to find them, and I was surprised that they were affordable. Like I said, I got a package with 10 kits. Can't remember what I paid for it. Of course, I'll talk more about that in the video where we actually test them. Quick note here, while you see me cutting these up, because you see I finally got it loosened from the mold without like putting my thumb through it. They were soft, but they cut just fine. The knife actually does cut through the juniper berries. I was a little concerned about that because they're quite hard and crunchy. But no, it cuts right through. You will, if you cut from the top like I'm doing, you will have a little bit of dragging some of those botanicals down. So you'll have a little bit of lines on the fronts and the front cut edges of your soaps. It's not anything that's a big deal. It's just like a little scratch because that's what it does. If you wish to avoid that, you can turn the soap on its side to avoid at least some of that. I didn't want to do that because it was soft and I was worried about really messing it up by turning it that way. I didn't want to bend it or, I don't know, mess it up in any other way. So I did it from the top down. So mine will have, you might see in the pictures. I don't show a ton of pictures. All I do for these, and this will be my process for all of these, is similar to my clay soaps. I'm just going to bring them up to the camera at the end. I'm not going to show any up close pictures of these until later. When we do the testing, I will show you some up close and personal pictures of after they've sat around for 2 weeks. And by the way, that is when I'm doing the testing. That's going to be my go-to, is I'm going to test them at 2 weeks. And if there is a question on some of them, I'll probably also come back and do later testing, like maybe 6 weeks out. But that is why I'm doing 2 at once, because I can make 2 soaps at the same time. They've both been made on the same day, and so I can test them on the same day 2 weeks later. And that is why I'm doing 2 at a time, because otherwise this will take an eternity. So give me a little moment there. Yeah, I just had to adjust the camera. And you see, it is a very nice looking little soap. And I love their solution to the juniper berries, etc., clogging your drain. Putting it in a muslin bag is a great idea. And so I put half of them in a plastic bag, as you saw, and they're just sitting there on my scale. And the other half are going in the muslin bags. I did not wrap them because that was not in the instructions. I'm trying to stick with what they say to do. So also, you can't quite use them in a muslin bag if they are wrapped. So I'm putting them in there, and I'm imagining if you know, these are supposed to be guest soaps or little gift soaps, so they would be something you'd want to hand off right away. I don't recommend leaving these soaps unwrapped. Really, any soaps unwrapped that are melt and pour, because you're very likely to get glycerin dew. So I'm putting them in the bags, but we will see, knowing that there probably will be glycerin dew. But that's what it is. That's why I put half of them in the plastic bag. I wanted to preserve some of them so that, by preserve, I mean I just want them to not have glycerin dew, to not invite extra microbes. And I will be testing one from each category that way. And I'll be doing the same in the soap that you sort of see behind, that I'm not going to tell you what's in, what is in it yet. I'll be doing the same process. I'll be putting them in a type of bag, and I'll be putting part of them in a plastic bag to keep the glycerin dew away, and testing them on the same day. So this is it. That's all it takes to make a soap like that. And we will test it in 2 weeks Hope you are invested to stick around because this is going to be fun. Thanks. Bye.